Was there a eugenics war? Are we sure? Because Los Angeles looks fine.
And what happened to all of those
It's just really quick.
cryogenic spaceships that got launched in the 80s?
They weren't messing about. Oh,
Okay, just
the
getting the
magical
timer
stream.
ready. Yes. Just getting the timer ready. Everything good. So the first episode, Sacred Ground, it's about like Janeway has to participate in some religion. So it's not a Kuchimoya. It's not a Kuchimoya. I think their whole religion ends up being that they don't have one, and Janeway's just making assumptions. No, don't assume people's religion. It's rude. There's the lady. Janeway goes to her, is like, "Oh yes, I will take your great sacred test." And it's like, what are you even talking about? What test? Nobody said anything about a test.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah, it's that one.
And she like puts herself through it for no apparent reason.
It goes through all the trauma and the basically torture that she puts herself through. It's like, yes, I'm sure I passed your test. I withstood it with the calm serenity of a Jedi. She's like, there's no test. What are you talking about?
They're just messing around. It's just a prank, bro.
I told you. It's not a plot twist.
There's a camera right there.
So yeah, it's a fun episode. But it doesn't involve a Freakasaurus, so who cares?
The entire Voyager series was really just an elaborate prank the caretaker pulled.
Hey, LeMayo. It was a pretty sick prank.
You can tell from the moment the corn on the
Got his little
cob gets
banjo.
pulled out, it's just an elaborate hidden camera show.
It's all Star Trek like that because multiple times, especially in TOS, but multiple times in Star Trek, we've had like people displaying screens of the camera shots we got from previous episodes. Like in
for
when
sure.
Kirk is on trial, they have the exterior shot of the Enterprise blowing up somehow. It's like, what happened there?
Well, you know.
Well, they realize after these events have happened that it was all staged and it was all an elaborate, hidden camera show. But then they never seem to really catch on to the fact that this keeps happening, and so all of their reactions and responses are basically genuine.
Also, 30 seconds until we start, and I'm aware the stream visually is stuttering. It's all screwed up. I think the audio is okay, so I don't care about the video, because you're not supposed to be watching it anyway. You queue up your own episode, and then you press play when we press play.
I want to watch the blurry thing in good FPS.
It's hard to tell what's happening with it exactly, but we're going to press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh, it's the Voyager.
The Voyager. No. It's just Voyager. What's wrong with you
It's
people?
the Villager.
What? What does that even mean? Wow, it's the cave set. Oh, and this guy, we saw him recently. He was in the finale of Enterprise. Well, not the finale, the previous 2 episodes prior to the finale. He was the ambassador guy, used to be part of Terra Prime. So I'm checking my network statistics. It looks like the problem with dropping frames isn't because of my computer. It's my service provider being stupid again, because Suddenlink sucks.
Thanks, American telecommunications industry.
But we don't do monopolies in America. We have laws about it.
We may pay more for internet bandwidth, but at least we get worse service.
Yes. It's perfect. But I do get gigabit internet. which is actually 200 megabits.
Wow, Ryan, that that's almost 1/4 of
It's a fifth.
yeah.
Exactly. I wonder, hang on, let me do a speed test right now. Let me see what percentage of my internet that I'm paying for am I getting. Oh, wow, today, it's actually really good right now. I'm getting 700. 750?
What a real
Wow.
test moment to just walk straight up to the mysterious gateway in a cave.
Yeah, that's
It's
probably
like,
why they're
yeah,
killing her this season.
this looks safe.
So
Probably
if
why
I'm getting
they're
800 megabits down and presumably a whole bunch up, why is it not going through to YouTube properly?
that's why they're killing her in this episode.
Not this episode. She only almost gets killed in this episode. We're gonna have to get her like, oh my god. Okay, so I'm currently getting 750 megabits down and 1.5 megabits upload. What the heck?
Uh,
How? What does that even mean? What do I do with this information?
you upload it very slowly.
I don't understand why it's not a symmetrical connection. I know you can do symmetrical connections. What?
Well, a lot of internet service providers or plans don't really offer those because, um,
But why?
while one household may want to watch 750 episodes of Star Trek Voyager at the same time, there's no way they'd also want to stream all of those episodes to an audience.
I just want some upload speed. Oh well. Nothing I can do about it. I just gotta hope Suddenlink stops being trash one day. So how's the weather?
It's hot.
Like Topeka over there?
Yeah, sure, that's where I live.
Am I the only person who knows it's hot in Topeka? Alright.
Ooh, man, there must be something really interesting on the ceiling that guy's looking at.
Yes.
Maybe it says gullible up there.
Okay, so Janeway needs to complete the fake trial to get a cure for Kess? Is that what happens? I I I find it weird when a society's religious, their whole religion is based around a piece of tech. Like that's just a force field.
Ryan. You're just scratching the surface here. That force field um
How many
holds
TOS
back
religions are based around a computer?
holds back all of their sins.
The
And
demons are behind it.
yeah, that force field contains all the evils in the world.
It's like making a religion based on an internal combustion engine. It's like it
Basically
just came out of a
steampunk.
factory, man.
Wasn't that like a Mad Max thing?
Sure.
Internal combustion engines are sick. We already worship those.
Oh,
And who
you've
could blame
angered
If
the
you
us?
explosion spirits.
if you want to worship something, the internal combustion engine's not a bad idea.
You touch it and you
It's
burn your
actually
hand, and
physically
it's
there,
a
for
curse.
one thing.
The force field is there.
Yeah. I like it when I see evidence of things. Then I can accept it.
Yeah, they don't do that in Star Trek.
So, did she give him a coffee? It could kill him.
Yeah,
His biology's not ready.
I'm sure it's fine. I highly doubt he's even going to take a sip of it.
If you gave him
It's like,
They're
it's
just gonna
poison, it's
hold it.
poison, it's poison, it's poison.
he's just holding it to be polite. If you gave a medieval peasant a cup of coffee, the caffeine would kill them.
I mean,
Like, you know,
generally,
it's...
if you just go up to someone and hand them something, they'll just take it.
Yeah.
If you don't say
Here you
anything.
go, here's a free object.
No, you don't say
think
anything. You just hand it to them. And they're like, "What's the? Okay, it's mine now."
Do you think
Yeah.
Janeway meets so many like alien leaders? He just like does this sort of as a prank. Like they have no clue what our culture is like. They don't know what these objects are, but they reflexively grasp it. I'm gonna like next time the prime minister of the Gerbiglian Empire swings by, I'm just gonna hand him a spatula and I'll hold it throughout our entire meeting.
The sacred relic.
It's the talking spatula. Without it in your hand, you cannot speak.
Well, that's confusing because I can though.
Not when the spatula's in the room. It has powers. Sacred power.
Is that like the magic rock that keeps lions away?
What?
It's the magic rock that keeps
Well,
tigers
you don't
away.
see any. You don't see any lions around, do you? You're welcome.
It's tight.
Yeah, I'm sure rocks keep them away if you employ them correctly.
Well, yeah, that's humanity's
Brain
whole
do you
thing.
think?
Yeah, we're like, oh look, this is in the way, goodbye.
Whose brain do you think Robert Picardo just looks at a scan of like for 6 hours a day that's on that monitor
Probably his
behind him?
own. He's like, oh god, it's so hot.
Does
Look
he
at
have
this
a
thing.
brain? He's a
Look at this
hologram.
matrix. It's his
He
majesty.
has a neural matrix. Brain-shaped circuitry.
He's running like he's running like a simulation of a brain.
We're past
Inside
the point
his
where
existing
he's using the
computer
diagnostic
brain.
guy as an SD card, aren't we?
Yeah, he did that last episode.
He plugged in his external matrix.
Well,
Hey,
the
guys.
computers are made of bioneural gel packs, so in a sense, it's a RoboCop style.
Did I hear RoboCop? Somebody summoned me.
See, as a kid, this is something I never really understood. Actually, like in the next episode, when they get the mobile emitter, how come they don't just like load up the RoboCop program, who cannot be killed?
Well, that does happen at the end of the second part of that episode. But this episode is this part is really important because Neelix here discovers a legend where there was a young prince who
He's
touched-
doing it right now, shit.
and this is why Janeway has to undergo a vision quest. And what I like here is that
Has to in massive air quotes.
but they even play the Akuchimwea music when Janeway has her vision quest.
Wait, where was this guy? Where else have we seen this guy? Was this guy in the
Enterprise.
finale of Enterprise? Was he
Yep.
the president bad guy? Sort of
No.
bad guy?
He was
Well, he wasn't
the
really a bad guy.
ambassador. He used to be a bad guy.
He used to be part of that group, right?
He used to be racist. He got better.
He got better. He went through a 12-step program.
Yeah, that's him.
I gotta say though, Voyager was like really new age because for them to promote all this like meditation stuff was pretty happening back then.
Sussy.
Except it turned out that the Native American like consultant they hired was a fraud.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that? Did you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
idea that like
He was Italian. He was not Native American.
the Voyager crew was really into New Age medicine and philosophy. They're like these dilithium crystal. sounds like they're just like all the techno babble on the show is really just like 25th century pseudoscience.
Hold on a second. Shoot, ear review. You could be an expert on Native Americans and not be a Native American. He
Yeah.
wasn't not an expert because he was Italian. He was not an expert because he was a fraud.
Yeah,
I
mean,
will
if you're
not
Italian
have
and you wear a
the
feather,
name of my countrymen besmirched on Ryan's edits.
I mean,
You're
there's
from
nothing wrong with being
Michigan.
Italian.
Why do
But,
we
like-
have this conversation every time Chakotay appears on screen?
When you say
Yeah.
Michigan, do you mean
Because-
Michigan, Italy?
Hey, man.
The classic Michigan bolognese, I remember it.
You don't get to be a little tan and wear feather headdresses and then bill yourself as a Native American expert.
Wow. I prefer the term olive. Thank you.
So
You get to as long as you don't get found out, right?
Someone said that
Yeah, he managed to do it the whole
Jamake
series.
Highwater was the fraud's name. That he only like consulted on like half of one episode or something.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a little exaggerated, but what tribe is Chakotay is the $1 million question because it's not a real tribe.
He's the Akuchimoya tribe.
Yeah, he's
It's
far
a
from the bones of his
question.
people.
Mhm.
There is no answer.
That tattoo is not authentic.
Yeah, it's to
He's
him.
from the tribe of the nomadic group that they had to relocate in TNG, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah, and as we all know, what what's what was the message of that episode again?
I don't remember. I think they, if in the end, got them to live together with the Cardassians.
No.
You don't
They
live
gave up,
together
they gave
with
up their
Cardassians.
Federation. Yeah, they gave up their Federation citizenship to
And
stay
then they
on the
became
planet.
Maquis in DS9.
And then they became slaves of the Cardassians. Because they didn't want the guns.
The
Silly.
moral of the episode
But-
was Andrew Jackson was a dick.
So in in religion class, they made us read a story. It was by a guy named Lame Deer, and his father was a medicine man, and he didn't know if he was going to be a medicine man. So he's in a cave where he fasts for 3 days, and at the end of the fasting, he has a vision. In the vision, it tells him that you should be a medicine man like your father. So this is all based on that.
Star Trek.
How does it
Voyager is
relate to
based
the gingerbread man?
Vision quests.
Do you think? Do you think? So the transporter operator stands on that little podium. Do you think, like, some alien species came aboard Voyager one day and they like didn't notice the stairs and they just thought like Harry Kim was just like 8 feet tall?
This is like the Bajoran Trill cave set.
I think it's the exact
This is-
same,
this
yeah.
is like
Yeah, it looks
every cave set
concerningly
because they
similar.
only have one.
Where's the pools that all the slugs are in?
Where's the ledge that they look down on? Looks like Bahala.
It might
too.
even be the one that Odo goes to see his Cardassian informant.
Yeah, yeah.
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 And look, there's
The
fake
other
Kai Wynn.
cave
Discount
that
Kai
they-
Wynn. Light side Kai Wynn, if you will.
The Robert, was it Robert Probert who designed, or is it Andrew Probert who designed the Enterprise D? Anyway, Probert.
Provost.
Andrew.
Provost.
Oh, okay. However you say his name. He was really big on accessibility. That's why the Enterprise D had those really long windows so that people who were in a wheelchair could like look out, use them properly and look out. But also originally the intent for the transporter room was that step was an elevator so they could get up and off the transporter pad. But they couldn't make it in the set actually function because the set was built on a concrete slab. And I don't know, you're just talking about them stepping up and down off the transporter pad. It made me think of that. And I was thinking like they carried that step on forever, you know, in all the transporter room designs, but they never ever made it like a ramp or an elevator, I don't think. Maybe in Strange New Worlds there might be a ramp on the left if I'm remembering correctly. I don't know.
Yeah, there might be one.
You think a ramp would be really useful even for just like stuff, you know?
So the prank begins.
Do we see anyone with
We
disabilities?
just stole her tricorder.
Kind of Geordie.
Do we see anybody with disabilities in Star Trek? I mean,
We
yes.
see one wheelchair.
Yeah,
No,
there's
there's
one
another in
scene-
Discovery,
We see
two.
at least 2 wheelchairs. Pike and the girl in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, Melora, and then there's the
Dr.
dude who works for the
Emery.
Orion Syndicate in Discovery.
There's also the inventor of the transporter in Enterprise.
Oh
Yep,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yep, yep.
4. We have
yep.
4 wheelchairs.
4 wheelchairs out of
7 series.
Well,
700
think
episodes.
of it this way. It's not that they're underrepresented. It's that in the future more forms of paralysis can be cured. So there would just be fewer people in wheelchairs.
There's because and so the solution is just to get treat people's disabilities no matter what, and then what any kind of cultural or you know you, identities that evolve from those or that are derived from those traits can be completely erased.
Hey, we had
Wait, isn't the point of this to
TNG
change the mental state of the person so they like believe that they've completed it, and then that allows them to pass through this neural something or other
Yes.
field?
Well, you can't you can't rush the Vision Quest, and she's trying to
They
just get through it.
They could accomplish that if they just said, "Oh no, you're allowed to just walk through," and they're like, "Oh, okay, I'm allowed to. That's great."
Is this like
It's
a
like the
sauna?
waiting room from Men in Black.
This is a waiting room to the next life.
Hey, one other a disabled person was Worf when he was quadriplegic. Can't forget that.
He didn't have
Yeah,
a
but-
wheelchair though. He just had a knife.
He was gonna go the eugenics route and just inject himself.
He was going to go the honorable Klingon warrior way and commit ritual suicide.
But
He's
I think
gonna go the honorable Klingon way and have to.
So
have
are
a
these people
Xander kill
pranking
him.
Janeway? Like, have they legit been waiting there for years?
I don't think they exist.
Oh, they drugged her.
they exist. They're part of the spirit realm.
Are they spirits or are they holograms? She sounds really
She's a
familiar
smart
though.
one.
Who's that lady?
I don't think-
She is familiar. She's in a lot of stuff.
She does
Estelle
voiceover.
Harris as old woman.
She was Mrs. Potato Head.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
And she was.
She recently died.
George Costanza's mom.
Why would you tell
Yeah,
us that?
yep. George Costanza's mom. She recently passed, like a couple weeks ago, actually.
April 2nd, 2022. Yeah.
She's waiting in the waiting room for the next life.
I'm just thinking of the Ass Man.
Now she's
Seinfeld
there.
subplot.
Oh, jeez.
Is this a moral or is this just, they're old?
They're just
makes sense.
analyzing her.
It makes it seem like at first they're just old and like you don't want to be at the bus stop with old people, but obviously they're psychoanalyzing her from a deep.
They're doing the Yoda thing.
Yeah.
Wars do not make one great.
I see. She has played a D&D campaign. She knows
Space
to know.
Kit Kat bar.
Do or do not, but there is no try.
So how come
They're acting like
when
Yoda
we first meet
before
Yoda in
Luke
episode
knew
4,
Yoda was the master.
he's talking all weird and backwards. And then in the
This
prequels,
episode
he's talking all weird and backwards.
Ryan, you can't misnumber the Star Wars movies here. You will be executed.
And
Okay,
then, but then after Yoda reveals himself to be a Jedi Master on Dagobah, he starts talking normally. So the whole talking backwards thing was just another prank. But then that means throughout all the prequels, he's pranking everybody.
No, he
I
still
wanna-
talks backwards when after he reveals himself as Yoda.
The way Janeway opened the door kind of reminded me of I learned this thing about there's a certain theology. It's called universalism. And everyone knows that like most religions say, hey, if you don't believe in my religion, you're going to go to hell. But there's a strain of Christianity called universalism, which believes Christ died for everyone. But like nobody goes to hell because if you're in hell, but you can get out anytime you want. The door is locked from the inside. And so they kind of remind you that all Janeway has to do is open the door, and she's out of that purgatory area.
So I can do whatever I want, go to hell, and then leave.
Just God's waiting for you.
What's that thing in the center of the room? I'm imagining it's like a trampoline.
That stone looks fake.
It is fake. It's styrofoam.
Do they not have a
It's
budget
too
for
shiny
rocks?
and glossy for being a stone.
It's spray painted styrofoam.
Yeah, I mean, it's also that stone is meaningless because it does absolutely nothing for
You
this.
just picked up a rock off the ground.
Yeah, it's like, here's a
like,
rock,
ah.
see you later.
Look at it real
It's
close.
like, yes, I will hold the rock until I am ready.
But where I
You must analyze this sacred water utility statement.
Is there so Chakotay is standing in front of like some medical device, and there's that keyboard, and then above it is that a monitor that was pointed away from the user towards the floor?
Don't worry about it. Why does the
No,
doctor
it's
even
fine,
need
it's
monitors? He is the computer.
It's future tech.
So what I thought this was going to be was I learned that crystal balls, they come from this thing where you can look at when you fortune tell, you can tell the future by looking into the glint of any object. So
You're using the word can there very loosely.
Just let him finish.
According to magical people, people believe in
Right, have
magical
you never
people.
scribed
Magical
before?
people,
Yes, it's called
like the
scrying.
gnomes and the
Easy.
elves.
It's called scrying. So you can even like take some oil and put it on your fingernail and look at the glint in your fingernail, and that is the same thing as the crystal ball.
But how do you tell like what glint means I'm gonna get money?
You gotta be a fortune teller. I don't know.
Oh.
I can't answer that.
I have said time and time again, divination wizards are the most powerful kind of wizard.
So
Does the divination influence the outcome though?
Unclear.
they got Janeway
So-
looking at a shiny rock.
My headcanon on why the doctor looks at like computer panels and stuff when he
What is
doesn't
she
need
doing?
to because he is the computer.
She's hanging
Is
out on the
that-
set with the Sword of Kalis.
She's like, what's that sword? Oh, don't worry about it.
Oh, wait. But for you, listen,
Look at this glowing
rock
rock.
system from the rest of the medical.
We used to use these stones to
computers.
navigate the ocean.
So I think the doctor's behavior is for the people's benefit, not for the doctors. Like when he looks at a computer, it's just to indicate that to the other people he's not just standing there staring blankly into space.
Yeah.
He's doing something. You know what I
Oh.
mean? Like he's
You're saying it's like a website, it shows you a fake loading bar? Because it actually does it instantly.
well,
It's like,
sort
oh,
of.
that-
Well,
It's to
it
show the
reminds me
monkey
of-
brain that progress is being made, because if
It's-
you don't show it, it gets
Right.
annoyed.
I learned
Right.
that
It's m-
bartenders. Sorry, Robo. I learned that bartenders. The reason they're always seen polishing a glass is because they have nothing to do, and that if you see a bartender standing around doing nothing, that'll make you nervous. So they're always like cleaning a glass with a spare.
why would it make you
handkerchief.
nervous?
Well, I mean,
They just have a glass they constantly polish, and eventually they polish off the ridges of
Anxiety-inducing
the ridges of the glass.
Idleness.
yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, Ryan, it's more like when you're coding a program, you can either have the program calculate or do its operation faster, or you can have it redraw the window and continually show progress on the progress bar, even though it makes it slower doing its primary task. But if you don't do that, people get upset. So you actually make the task take longer to give people indication that a task is actually occurring.
Yes.
Facebook does the same thing with their security check. The security check takes only like half a second, but instead they show a pop-up dialog with a progress bar for like 5 seconds, just to make sure you know it's secure. It's really secure. Takes
So
5
secure.
Well,
Look at all the algorithms that are running.
That's to slow down. That's to slow down like hostile interfaces that use WebDriver to actually navigate the website with a bot.
seconds.
It's kind of like how RGB lighting makes the RAM go faster.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Because all the excess heat is being like routed into light instead.
Oh, this
So
is
you
such a
see,
sick
it
prank.
makes it
Yeah,
fast.
put your hand in the snakes.
Oh,
Look.
but
Oh
by the way,
man, they're friendly, probably.
this is
Did
right
you
out of
know-
Doom, the Gom Jabbar.
Did you know that if you take your RGB computer and accelerate it at near relativistic speeds, any games you play on it will actually have negative frames per second.
Did you know
If you put your computer on a spaceship going 75% of the speed of light, it will have a higher frame rate from your perspective.
that?
Wait, no, it would have a much slower.
Only if
frame
it's moving
rate
towards
from your
you.
perspective.
Only if it's moving towards you, Ryan. If it's moving away from you, it's slower.
Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration.
I don't know, I
If-
feel
if-
like venomous snakes can kill your mind pretty quick.
if you get on a spaceship that's like orbiting a planet that your computer's on at near
One
relative
dies eventually,
it'll
lol,
make
closes
your computer
door.
run faster.
Men are but flesh and blood. They know their doom, but not the hour.
Janeway had a mock
Not-
funeral happen just
okay.
now.
I think.
Like, bye-bye. Ayahuasca. A lot of tourists go to like Colombia or Peru to take the drug. So, you know, like in fact, it's funny because even people who are not transgender in any way, they have all kinds of hallucinations, especially experiencing themselves as through the opposite sex. So, but again, you have to like die, a part of you. So, I feel like that's what Janeway is doing when she's in that fake burial thing. She's taking ayahuasca with the shamans.
But wait, Doctor, this is the same visual aid you've used to show us a completely different chemical process.
It's chemistry on the screen.
I know that is the screen. See, like behind Chakotay's head,
The doctor
cut
is so
back.
annoyed by them
His
questioning
head
his
screen
conclusions.
pointed that's located, below eye level, pointed at the ground.
That's Naomi Wildman's computer.
So she like stands on it, and then she like lifts her hands above her head to use the keyboard. She
You're gonna
stares
get
at
him
the
a stool or
bottom.
something like this.
This is the Akuchi Moya music. I'm far from the bones of my ancestors.
Bones.
What if we just dig up a cemetery and do an even distribution of bones throughout the galaxy?
I carry the
Just take
bones
the
of my
bones around.
ancestors on me at all times.
Yes, make sure you take your bone broth wherever you go.
An
for you.
important fun fact is that technically there are more skeletons in the world than people.
Are
Yeah,
there though?
that's
Because
for
they
sure.
break down
Yeah,
pretty
because-
fast.
No, because there are a non-zero number of dead skeletons, and every living person contains at least one skeleton.
Ryan, there is a skeleton hiding inside of you right now.
When
A
does
spooky,
when does
scary
a-
skeleton.
You
When
gotta
does a
get it
dead
removed
person
like
cease to be a
mine.
person and a skeleton?
If we
Does the
allow
flesh
When
our
fall
they're-
off
brains-
count as it not as a person anymore? Or when they
Yes.
die, it's not a person.
If we allow our brains to become too smart, they will try to take over our bodies.
So, it is also true in Native American traditions, or you do have a vision guide. Like usually, it's an animal like a leopard or a jaguar
Well, not
or eagle.
in
Or something.
some.
Janeway gets a little lizard.
Oh yeah,
Let's-
yeah. But here she
because
gets
she
this
turns
woman.
into a lizard.
But here she's.
Alana
fleeting to the
killed her
gods.
her animal guide.
Yeah. But this is
Oh, is
all
what she needs the
pointless.
snake venom?
No, it's all pointless because none of it's gonna help.
No,
This
it's in their
is-
blood.
This is also the same
but
set where when Harry Kim was on the asteroid. This is like that
It's our favorite set.
Yeah. thing when they bury
The
you.
one flied.
It reminds you also of the Klingons, you know, in Discovery when they had that funeral at the beginning.
What do you mean? The
Actually,
spirits have been deceiving
this-
her this whole
they
time.
straight up led her on a wild goose chase.
Yeah, deceiving is like the spirit's whole modus operandi.
Okay. The spirits have told her nothing true so far. Even at the end, oh, you have everything you need to go save Cass now. You've walked the circle of life.
The real medicinal treatment was the friends we made along the way.
No.
Oh, by the way,
I remember what happens here.
the
there's such
just
spirits.
now they tell her she's been like in the sleep chamber thing for like 36 hours. So she's very sleep deprived. Something else that's interesting. So this guy Carlos Castaneda, he writes fiction books, okay, and it's been very condemned because it's a parody of real Native American religious traditions and shamanism. But anyway, he says that when anybody in the world takes this drug called peyote, it comes from a cactus, same active ingredient as ayahuasca. You see little green men running around, and that's where the myth of like Martians as green men come around. But we
Wait.
all have this Easter egg in our brain where we see the
Hold on.
same. Go
Is that the mobile emitter on our forehead?
ahead. Next episode.
Did we already have this discussion? Oh no.
No,
Never
No,
mind.
that's not it.
The
It's
mobile
similar,
emitter
though.
is shaped like a guitar pick for some reason.
Because it's shaped like a Starfleet Delta,
asymmetrical.
but from the future.
I never realized that.
Did you guys
I don't
see-
think it's shaped like a delta. I think it's got a weird asymmetrical.
Well, the Delta's asymmetrical.
Here, I'll
Did you
post a
guys
picture
realize
of the
that the
mobile emitter.
Chronoworks Industries logo is just the future Delta
Oh, it's not a
flipped
Delta.
around?
Yeah, and Neelix, thanks for you don't get to make medical opinions.
They told her that.
Yeah, it's funny the doctor says that. By the way, Janeway's eyes are so
He's
blue
still
here.
tripping, that's why.
Like, she really is scared. She's doing good acting. Because, you know, people with blue eyes, their eyes change color when they are in different moods.
No.
What?
No, that's
No.
not a thing.
No, it is
It's
a
not a
thing.
thing.
No,
It is
no,
a
it is not.
Not a thing.
It is.
No. Are you trying to be one of the spirits and troll us?
No, I've known, you know, I have a preference for blue eyes, so I'm very familiar with.
Do you have a preference for blue eyes, or do you have blue eyes?
No, I don't have blue eyes. I probably have a recessive gene for blue eyes because my grandfather and my nephew and my uncle have blue eyes, but I don't have blue eyes.
Now, I need to get a link. Let's see. Notvisionboutique.com.
That's for people who want blue eyes.
That's my website.
Okay. So, fun fact: blue eyes isn't really a color; it's a lack of melanin or in your eyes that creates the illusion that your eyes are not brown. It's a melanin deficiency in your eyes.
Do you think those people sit in that chamber all
Trying
the
to cast
time?
blue eyes as a
and they-
deficiency, bro.
Do you think do you think they get up and get out of this chamber to use the bathroom, or do you think those are like backless hospital gowns and they just poop all day?
They're spirits. They have all the time in the world.
There's the moral of the episode right there. One sentence. Most of the
Well, that's
challenges
not
in life
true
are
at
those we create
all.
for ourselves. Roll credits. It's done. The episode's over.
Most of my problems are caused by scarcity. Liar, I can't meditate my way to nutrition.
Meditate your way to cow. Lots of
what's funny,
people
though?
do that. You just have to like tell people about how you did it
About
and sell it.
See, I really like this scene because Gene Roddenberry was an atheist. You know, Star Trek has this scientific technological progress ethos where you don't really need religion and you don't need God in the future. And you know, I mean, it doesn't lay it on heavy, but it's kind of implied that this is an atheistic future.
But
And
God
here,
does need a starship in the future.
yeah, but they blow him up because he's a dick. So
It feels like the spirits, if these are spirits, are calling her a bad person for wanting evidence of stuff.
yeah, the
Like, how
conversation
dare you want to quantify anything?
the conversation here is kind of illogical, but I think it strikes at a really good point though, because here's the thing though. Reality is you come at reality with your own paradigm. So that's why when they say, "Oh, well, first we were a test and now we're something else." It's like, you know, you keep imposing your mental concepts onto ultimate reality. And that's your problem. That's not reality's problem.
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
Yeah.
The fact that
See, like this is a criticism too of the scientific worldview. It's like, see, I mean, but you know, I love science. I believe in science. It's a great thing. You know, I have nothing but respect for people who use empirical observation. But you can't say that science has all the answers or will have all the answers because science is just a collection of our observed experimental outcomes. It doesn't actually say science can explain everything.
this looks like an interesting episode, but I have no clue. It looks pretty good, but I've had no clue what anyone is doing at any point throughout the whole thing.
It's hard to convey spiritual ideas.
Janeway, he's not a spirit. He's a Sith Lord.
A
See,
Sith
like,
Lord.
even here, right? It says like you're the one who says the biogenic field is harmful energy. Like we're telling you it's not. So get
Well,
out
it
of your.
literally is, though, because it's killing someone.
It just zapped her, and when it zaps her back, she'll be fine. You know what's really funny though? It's kind of like lightning. I remember learning how like if you get hit by lightning, first of all, most people wake up with their clothes off because the sweat on your body explodes, and that causes your clothes to burn off. Um, but blind people have been cured of blindness, but after being hit by lightning and other things, you know. So it's like obviously it should be fatal, the dose of lightning, but sometimes it's not.
Lightning makes you
Lightning is actually very rarely fatal.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people survive. It's fine. Well, it's not
Well,
fine, but
no, I didn't say it was fatal. Well, I'm saying you would think though 10 million jolts of electricity would be fatal, but most of the time you just wake up with your clothes off, and if you were blind, now you can see.
And you get a really cool scarring
I really
tissue
feel like the
inside your
clothes thing is
veins.
going to be apapocryphal if I look it up.
Possibly.
Doesn't a
Look-
bolt of lightning only deliver one jolt of electricity?
Well, it delivers many volts, but only one jolt.
Uh, but did you look up the blue eye thing, Ryan? Was I fibbing on that?
Yeah.
What? Okay, let me mute.
I mean, different lighting conditions can change the color that an eye appears, but it's the same eye.
Color is just an
Also, the
illusion.
clothing thing is also apocryphal. It's just, your clothes might catch on fire. They could potentially disintegrate, but they don't get exploded off your body.
You need to date more blue-eyed people.
From what I read, it was when the iris expands, it sort of concentrates the melanin, and makes it a little bit darker. That's what my understanding was.
Tell them.
I'm sure there is a record of a guy getting hit by lightning and his shoes came off. I think, like his shoes flew off, something weird like that.
Do you think are ships in the future equipped with like stretchers to move patients around?
Well, the biobeds move. I think they're on wheels.
Anti-gravity.
never-
Sometimes they roll the biobeds into the transporter room.
Do they?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Lots
I
of
can't
times.
remember when it was from, but I definitely remember seeing that. It was TNG era.
I can't think of a single example of. I mean, I haven't seen every episode, but I can't think of a single example of a patient being like rolled around on a bed or a stretcher.
Well,
Like
we've
even if
watched
they have
every
like
episode for the
fatal,
past
even if
years.
they have like fatal injuries, they still have to like stumble onto. They have to walk themselves. Maybe they'll get to wrap their arms around someone's shoulders, but that's about it.
I'm pretty sure I have a distinct memory of at some point Beverly rolling one into the transporter room. But what I remember specifically is from Discovery. When they rescue Reno from the asteroid, they have to roll the stuff into the transporter, all the patients.
Oh yeah. That was a good episode. Do we get to see more of Reno in later
Yeah, man,
Discovery seasons?
she shows
She
up
was
all the
really
time.
good. She shows up all the time, but she doesn't show up as much, at
I
least in
think
like that
the
second
moral of
season.
this episode is reject reason, embrace bioelectric field.
Yes. We don't need empirical observation.
No, we definitely do. 100% we do.
Nah,
but-
Ryan, we don't need your
What's
science.
What's amazing is though, see, Janeway is the scientist. I think either here or later when they're doing
It'd be
the
amazing if you
29th,
killed both of them here.
29th century analysis. Janeway is the best scientist on the ship. She was also science officer under Tom Paris's father, so Admiral Paris. So
I think
for
she
her to
is
take
using
this-
the scientific method though, because she's exhausted everything, and she's like,
Yeah,
"Well, this is the only thing that's left."
I mean, she was told in a vision to do something, and she's doing it.
Did we have to carry her, though? Couldn't we have sent her in on a biobed? On a stretcher?
wouldn't
But it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, they
it's
beamed
like
her to
more
SPC.
religious that way.
This is my point, Ryan.
Yeah, but why didn't they do that? Did they say why?
And now here's the reason.
Also, did Kate Mulgrew have to like carry her that whole time? She
I'm sure
just
she was
shredded.
hoisted. She was hoisted.
Like they had to do multiple takes of this scene or something, you know?
They never showed her like holding her up like a WWE wrestler or something. So we just saw like a corner shot, which means like she's probably held by a hoist.
But canonically now, like
Yeah, she's jacked.
Janeway is totally shredded, right? Like we know this now. She totally lifts.
I mean, she's a survival expert too, because when they were stranded on the planet by the Kazon, she's telling them how to start fires and stuff.
How
She
heavy
can-
could
she
Kes
can
possibly
pick up
be? She's a
cocaine
4-year-old child.
all across the Delta Quadrant.
Kevin is the smallest person on the ship. Kes, excuse me.
Kevin? Who's Kevin?
Kes.
Kevin is the smallest person on the ship, and he makes a couple appearances in the show, but you never see him. He's too tiny.
Kes is smaller than Naomi Wildman.
There's like a microbe crewman named Kevin.
There is Kevin the God
Micro
from TNG.
crewman.
Yeah,
The Dowd.
It's the size of a single seed.
So
He's a single
basically, what
celled
happened there was
organism.
they hid the key bit of evidence that was needed to figure out the problem from them, and just went, "Do this stupid trial." Oh, it was
Alright.
just a prank. Now walk into the field.
Queuing up the next episode, 1 minute, Future's End Part 1. The good part. Well, they're both
It's like
good.
the same thing when Balana's like spirit was in the other realm, and Chakotay had to do the dream
Do the
catcher.
boxing.
Yeah, and then they had the big tapestry and the wall and sick bay. Same thing.
Oh, my internet fixed itself. It's fine now.
I need to leave at 3, which is sad because this is such a good two-parter.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
what
really.
time is 3? Because 3 is 30 minutes after the stream ends for me.
Yeah,
3 is in 10 minutes. for
Episode
me.
3.
Ah.
it's 4 o'clock for me.
Oh.
Here in
Bye. But
Yeah.
Steve Jobs was stealing 29th century technology. Star Trek is confirming this.
All right,
So
everyone
was
press
Bill
play in
Gates.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Bill Gates
Steve Jobs is
not
a
a
hack.
lizard.
Was a
Bill
hack.
Gates is not a lizard person, but he does have a 29th century energy weapon which can use to vaporize people.
Is every owner of some mega corporation a different kind of conspiracy monster? Because Mark Zuckerberg's a robot. Bill Gates is a demon, right?
Or is he a lizard person?
I think
Is
he's
he?
a lizard person who works for Demon.
I love how this episode also has like militia members who are like anti-government pro-gun militias too in part 2. I mean, because obviously in 93 or 94 the federal government attacked the Branch Davidians in Texas, in Waco, Texas.
And
What
also,
exactly is this guy
Ruby
doing?
Ridge.
Like, he's just hanging out
He's
in
just
a
camping,
random
man.
place.
That's what camping is. You just hang out in some random place.
He didn't have a tent.
Also-
He was just there with sticks and dirt.
Why is this a set? That's clearly a fake styrofoam wall. Why couldn't they just go outside for a shot?
Because people who
You
like
can't
Star
just
Trek
fly a
can't
UFO around
stand
outside,
direct
or people will get worried.
They just had a lamp. They put a spotlight on his face for a minute.
Because part 2 involves them going out to Los Angeles, the city. So there is like already enough outdoor shooting in this two-parter. They
Budget.
probably-
They also would have needed to film something outdoors at night, which would have been outside of like normal hours.
Yeah, for sure.
And they would have had to go outside of the. They would have had to go outside the filming district and pay extra.
They'd
for
have to go
viewing
find a
crews.
real wall.
Yeah, which is why there's so much stuff that's shot at fast as rocks, which is actually what they should have done. That would have been fantastic.
Just doesn't compare to the perfectly sculpted styrofoam.
But yeah, the production thing, you got to bring like 20 people with cameras and electrical equipment and duct tape out to the setting in the wild. It's prohibitively expensive. Just put up some plants.
So, fun fact: when they were filming Star Trek Generations, they forgot Captain Picard's comm badge when they went to go film in the desert. So, in the scenes where he's fighting Sauron in the desert, he has no comm badge, and there's no
Did
explanation
you just call
for
him
it.
Sauron?
Is it Sauron? Is it
Sauron.
Soren.
It's
Saruman.
no, it's neither.
I know we're just kind of grabbing words,
Soren.
because we're just
Noonan
having a
Soren.
conversation. But I love
Sauron.
the idea that like
The Deceiver.
when filming Star Trek Generations, they went out into the desert with electrical equipment and duct tape and 20 people and had Patrick Stewart fight Sauron.
Aj naj dolbatoluk. Aj
Is that not
naj-
his name in
Stars.
Generations?
No, it's Soren. Soren.
So whatever.
No,
Anyway,
those are totally
they forgot the
different
comm
names. You're
badge, and
talking
they
about the Dark Lord.
Janeway,
They
you
couldn't
should
send
play
the,
Tennessee out of your
intern back to
quarters.
get it.
Imagine what would have happened. What could happen if you break a window?
Bloody
I'm sure
Vulcans
he would
in
be
sports.
super
It's
good.
always simple geometry, simple physics. Come on.
Why should you have fun even? It's for exercise.
Like Tuvok.
Totally have. Vulcans have the Q-tip fighting.
I had a
Yeah.
friend I had a friend in college. We used to play racquetball, and I don't remember what religion he was, but he wouldn't keep score. It was against his religion,
Well, what?
and it
Okay.
was
True.
frustrating.
Did you beat him all the time, and that's why I wouldn't keep score?
Gonna say, I don't know if I believe
I
him.
think he was better than me. Actually, I think he was
Maybe
always
he was
ahead.
just
but
being
he
nice to you then.
He wouldn't keep score. No. He
He's
was,
like,
he was
he's
something
like
like
6 points
super.
down. Well, I don't know what the score is.
No, he was something like super religious.
I'm trying to find what religion that might be, but I don't know if
A
it's gonna
religion
come
that
up.
doesn't involve counting. That doesn't sound like it will get very far.
It sounds like it's the religion of the people we just saw in the last episode. They don't believe in counting in numbers.
Well, There was a religious sect in, I think, Pennsylvania, that it was against their religion to have intercourse for any reason, including reproduction, and they no longer exist for obvious reasons.
No, Robo.
The
There
Shakers,
are
yeah.
approximately 4 Quakers, or no, Shakers.
No,
No, it
Shakers.
wasn't. It wasn't a Quaker.
Shakers,
Shakers.
yeah.
They're
Often
still around.
confused.
They're doing fantastic.
Deny all pleasure.
Did you know that graham crackers were originally invented to stop people from masturbating?
Yeah, I don't get that. How does that work?
Well,
The
It
idea
works
was
very well.
that
Thanks for asking.
hot foods get you hot, and cold foods keep you not hot.
Why are the
that's
flashing
not how
lights
it works.
there?
I don't know if I can describe the entire philosophy of the temperance movement, but I gotta get going.
Good luck.
Thanks,
Stay away
We're all
from
everyone.
counting
hot
on you.
oatmeal. It makes
Yep.
you want
I wish you all many graham crackers, you
Thank you.
Freakasauruses.
Thank
How
you.
was there no time for a time travel thing?
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Because time.
He should have just got there a little
This
earlier.
is established in Enterprise. Events, changes in the timeline propagate at a set speed through the timeline. So if you want to fix it, you have to get there before the propagation reaches the time period you're trying to alter.
Mm.
Or because it's convenient. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Some kind of graviton.
Some kind. Well, I mean, you know it's right there.
But it's a future weapon.
It's like someone with analog tools trying to analyze a digital signal. Some kind of signal.
It runs on some kind of electricity.
12,000 jolts.
Earth.
All right. Cool. We made it.
And now we get to see
The
Crazy
question
Braxton.
is, when are we?
Bloody time travelers, that's all they always ask. The question isn't where, but when. Why? Wait. Who is transmitting a phone answering machine message over radio?
I think it must have been like a radio drama or a TV show.
Oh God, Janeway, come on, it's so cliche.
It's when.
Someone has to say it.
Was it not cliche in the 90s?
I'm pretty sure it was cliche already.
So here's what you do. You are the most powerful starship in the region. You now own Earth.
We
Pretty
can
easy.
start the Terran Empire
you now
early.
own. Yeah, you now own everything. Just
Wait,
like
Just
I
that.
forget, is
oh,
this
you don't want to
during or
obey me?
directly
Well,
after
I
the
just
Eugenics Wars?
obliterated Florida.
Maybe this is
Isn't this right after Eugenics Wars?
This is during the Eugenics Wars.
Ah.
That was an underground war, you see.
No, it was just not fought in San Diego.
1996 is the Eugenics Wars.
I think so.
Yes, 1996.
Except now it's
is it.
established there's at least 2 Eugenics Wars. That's why it's plural.
Maybe what the
there's
eugenics
Eugenics Wars and
was not a war of
92
people,
and
but
96.
us deciding to make GMO crops. You see, this
So-
eugenics
this
is
is-
something.
This is
that-
right after.
Eugenics Wars happens between 92 and 96. So this is either during the tail
the
end
day
or
after.
just after. The day after.
I don't remember any
Everybody-
Eugenics Wars when I was growing up.
Good that we're done
They
with
picked
that.
up all
What's that
the,
giant ship? Oh
debris.
no, just another thing.
Looking at this, though, I can understand why someone might want to start a eugenics war.
Is this nostalgic to anybody?
Girls in bikinis. Yes, girls in
No,
bikinis is really
but
nostalgic to me.
I
Nothing
grew up
yet.
on the
Damn.
West Coast. Although I just
Vaguely,
went to,
but very vaguely.
I just went to the Statue of Liberty to take some family who were visiting from out of town,
What?
and they
The
had
only
this
one that
like
looks like right there is
pier.
Tom.
Yeah, I mean, this pier looks pretty typical, but all that doesn't look typical.
I hope they eventually remaster Voyager to 4K, except this episode, for the extra
Why?
90s nostalgia.
Oh,
Yeah, it totally looks like
get your VHS
an
and plug it.
episode of some 90s show. Well, it is a 90s show, but contemporary one.
What's that lady doing with her lemonade? What? Oh, those are
Why don't
bubbles.
they just like go around the sun a few times until it's the future?
They could put themselves in cryo sleep for a while.
Yeah. Oh.
Whoa.
Has anyone been here?
Wow. Thanks, Rick.
A coaty, you dog, you.
Has anyone been to this pier?
No, I thought you
I
would.
don't think so.
California.
We're in
California's
San
a
Francisco.
big state, man.
True.
Yeah.
If this doesn't look anything like where I live in California. These are like palm trees and beach. I have Sequoia sempervirens. It's all trees everywhere. 200 feet tall.
Have they said where they are?
They're in... It's a famous pier. I can't think of the name off the top of my
Thermal
head.
radiation is at hazardous levels. Lol. Tuvok's not going to get sunburn. He comes from Vulcan.
It's the Santa
Yeah,
Monica Pier. The Santa Monica
back then,
Pier.
we were worried about the ozone layer and how like CFCs
Those cars are pretty nostalgic, actually.
sprays in the aerosol. We're gonna like
Oh,
eat
look, it's a
hole
random homeless
in
person.
the ozone layer and accelerate the heating of the planet. Fortunately, we phased
But
out
is he
CFCs
really
and we
random?
solved that problem. But this obviously is the not only they're paying homage to Star Trek 4 with the whales, but in Picard, when they go to Los Angeles and they have that cover song, California Dreamin', they do that really well because Voyager would have never played California Dreamin' to this intro with Sarah Silverman.
What is this computer game?
It's a really
Oh,
great
looks like we
song.
got some Tetris up there.
And she's wearing almost a TOS gold uniform, by the way.
Where's the miniskirt? Not TOS without a miniskirt.
She's got bell bottoms. It was the 80s.
Wait, what did that note say? It said, remember movie...
Movie night.
At
Yeah.
7... Oh, movie night at 7 p.m. Okay.
Well, did you see how fast
thought
that
it was
rendered? Whoa! For the 90s, that was
Wow.
blistering.
She's working for the search.
This reminds me of the Voyage Home. Like, how does Scotty know how to operate a 1960 Mac or whatever it was?
It was the 80s.
A 1980s. That doesn't change the estimation, though. How does he know how to work it?
Yeah, no, 400 years. He knows how to hack it and reprogram it. He just
How does
doesn't
he even
know
know
how
how
to
to type?
keyboard. Yeah. Hello, computer.
I feel like he's in other episodes.
Henry Starling here?
Well,
I feel like they wanted Dennis Leary, but they couldn't get him.
That is Ed Begley Jr. Let me look him up.
All the leaves are brown.
Oh, Henry Starling was in the original Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, wow.
He looks awful.
He has a train set on his desk. Man, they're taking the eccentric billionaire thing.
What do you have against a train set?
On a CEO's desk is what I'm trying to say. Like
he was the voice of Boba Fett in the radio drama of Return of the Jedi. Interesting.
So he's bankrolling the SETI thing that she works for. I love her wall of like Atari consoles behind her. It looks like the what is it? There was a War Games. There was a 80s movie about like a kid who hacks the NSA computers or military computers. So it looks like a set from War Games or something. Like NORAD Computer Command. Oh, that's cool though. The reason he's sponsoring the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is because he wants to make sure nobody from the future comes for his behind.
Yeah, it's self-defense. I don't know how he plans to defend himself from people from the future.
With his
Even
gadgets.
if he has
and
one
his
shuttle
wires.
and a ray gun.
I mean, to be fair, it's a 29th century shuttle, and it's like that TNG episode where the guy impersonates the 29th century.
Okay, what is that
Seriously.
tattoo about? Because it's like really
That was
obvious.
going
we're
to be
supposed to
Robin
look at it.
Williams.
I think
Yeah.
that's supposed to be from his 1960 hippie phase.
You gotta love
No,
how
Rain, you
Chinese-
fool!
Chinese food
Like,
chemistry.
hello, we are the peoples. Don't kill us, please. What would our response
Sarah-
be if that did happen, like in current timeline? Would people like, "Hey, you want to come and visit or something?"
I'm pretty
We'd
sure
immediately attack them.
every
Meanwhile, we are
nuclear
aiming our
missile
nukes at them, like
This
every
is our
single
spot,
nuke
get your
we've
own.
got.
But whoever you are,
We
found
licked the Earth. We licked it. It's ours.
Dibs.
I think an alien race would look at us and be like, "This needs to be contained before it's an issue." We're just too darn determined.
It's
gonna
fine,
take
we're
all the
containing
planets.
ourselves.
Yeah, we are
You
continuing.
know, if we get off this planet, we're just going to take them all. It's the way.
Aloha.
No, our first interaction with extraterrestrial life is going to be a bloody pictogram from the
Us.
1990s CGI.
Oh, that's from the
It's-
70s.
Our first
Pioneer-
interaction with you aliens was just us.
And all the homeless people are right. Don't think they're crazy if they're shouting, "The end is near."
The end is coming in 900 years.
I've never even seen someone proclaiming doomsday. People talk about it, but I've never seen anybody do that.
It was more common in the 90s before.
Yeah. Now people do it on the internet instead of in the street.
Yeah. But
Much easier.
in Star Trek Picard, they kind of point out every planet has a watcher that just makes sure the timeline is preserved. So this guy's, why didn't he reach out to his watcher?
Wait, what guy? Oh, Braxton.
Yeah, this homeless guy. I mean, because he fulfills the role of the watcher here somewhat.
I think he's just insane at this point.
He's
We're
losing
going
it.
to steal a
bit.
car.
Because, like, even if people believed him, what are they supposed to do about it?
Yeah, well, you can't do anything.
This man is so crazy, he has his own subspace channel. It's just his own thoughts.
They, they even say in part 2 of this episode, Chakotay and Balana are having a conversation. Balana's like, "We may have to get jobs." And she says it with such dread.
Like, jobs?
I get the feeling.
She has a job now.
Yeah,
no,
but she
I mean,
likes her
Momentarily.
job. She's going to have to, like, go do hamburgers.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
gonna
she
have
can't
to
just
start
walk
working
into
on
an
that
engineering
Cardassian
firm.
missile.
She's got to come up with a really good explanation for her forehead.
We could also just replicate money. What's the problem?
Yeah, you could actually. You could just replicate whatever you needed and not need just cut out the middleman.
Yeah, replicate some gold if you really need to sell it. When was Craigslist founded? Could they replicate a car?
When was what founded?
Craigslist.
Like
Craigslist.
2004.
They could replicate stuff to post on
No,
Craigslist
earlier,
if it
yeah.
exists.
When was Craigslist founded? 1995.
Oh yeah, they could
And
totally
it
do
hasn't
that.
had a change to the page since then.
Oh, look at that sun damage to his face. You need sunscreen. Or you'll end up looking like old person makeup. Why are you panicking, man? It's like 400 years away. Chill.
See,
Enjoy the rest of your
is
life
it-
while you have it.
A chain of reaction.
Yeah, don't worry about
Can't
that.
open the line.
It's to emphasize his craziness.
Of course.
Because, as he's about to tell them, they stuck him in a mental institution in the 90s and pumped him full of drugs and probably shocked his brain a bit.
Are
Probably
we still
not
doing
doing so
electroshock
hot.
in the 90s?
I don't know, man.
Think
It
so.
is still done today.
I want to say no, but only
But
to defend
actually,
my.
the funny thing is though,
Era.
when it's done at lower current, it's not the
Not because I have
cinematic-
any confidence.
I feel like this isn't something you need to write out, Braxton. A to B to C, that's not... Oh well. Was this a sanctioned mission, or did he just go?
In the 20th century.
Disgusting. Now, this kind of thing never makes any sense, because if he never came back in the first place, no one would be able to catch his ship. There's no initial creation of this cycle. It doesn't make sense.
Well, that assumes that there's only one timeline. Otherwise, it does make sense.
So in some other universe, Voyager does destroy the solar system?
Right.
Also, I wonder, because we see Captain Braxton in a later episode, is it the same guy?
Yeah,
Because he looks
just from a
very
different
different.
time.
Is
He's
he
like
the
80
same
years old here or
actor?
something. Yeah.
No, do we see this Captain Braxton and the episode Relativity with 7 of 9?
Is that Braxton? I thought.
No,
Who's
that's
this
yeah,
guy?
that's
Isn't
Braxton.
Is this Braxton?
This is Braxton and that's Braxton. They're both Braxton.
No, it wasn't Braxton in the with 709.
They
It
had the
was the
whole
other
time
dude, it was
ship.
the-
There was the dude from Picard and there was Braxton.
Right, but it wasn't Braxton. It wasn't this guy, the homeless-looking dude. It wasn't this dude. It was his co-captain.
Oh, the guy in the woods was Starling, right?
We see it later in the episode, I think.
Oh,
Either
the
this
guy in the
episode
woods
or the
was
next episode.
Starling.
He gets
Yeah?
apprehended, and the guy who performs a time merger between the two bodies. That's the guy.
That's so funny because like it's a tired trope where like the radical hippie from the 60s becomes a corporate sellout. In fairness, you can't make much money being a hippie. We all got to sell out at some point.
But that's what you wanted in the first place, Braxton. It'll all work out.
Ryan,
That's me.
can I go to the bathroom?
I met someone
Why
at
do
a
you go
bar,
during the break?
and he was telling
But I
me
gotta
how
go now.
when he was like 19, he was an animal rights activist, and he was like freeing animals from like laboratories or whatever cage he could find. And so I asked him, I was like, do you ever think about doing that now? He's like, I'm 35 and married. I'm not doing animal activism anymore.
Did you ever think about calling cops quasi-Cardassian totalitarians? God, I should
But,
start using Star Trek insults.
a lot of hippie radicals kind of moderate their radical positions as they grow into middle age.
Why is Chrono Works CG? Why is that a fake building?
They should have just built a whole new building.
Well, they could, like, film an existing building and CGI a sign. They have buildings. They're in LA.
I've never seen LA, so for all I know, they don't have buildings.
One of the largest cities in the United States. Yeah, probably not. It's a small town with a well.
In some palm trees.
The weapon. I don't like that Starling's telescope is pointed outside during the day. I hope it has a cover on it. That's sketchy.
What would happen to the telescope?
Well, if the sun passes by it and it doesn't have a cover, the optics instantly melt.
Really? Wouldn't it just make a really tight beam, maybe, and like burn a hole in the carpet or something?
No, it would 100% melt the optics. It's bad. The lens on the front would probably be fine, but the place where it's focusing the beam onto, inside the telescope, would be totally screwed.
Yeah, I can see that.
You would brick your telescope. So about Vulcans. They always... It's weird that this has happened enough that I have to say always, and not just, this one time. Whenever Vulcans go back to the past, they always have to wrap something around their ears to hide it. But I feel like people wouldn't actually care in real life if someone just had pointy ears.
Probably.
I feel like nobody would notice.
Are his ears going to get spotted and he's going to use Spock's excuse about the Chinese rice picker?
I have no memory of that. It sounds bad.
It was in that Star Trek movie with the Saving the Whales.
Yes.
They were
Star Trek 4.
explaining why his ears were pointy. They said his ears got caught in a Chinese rice picker or something like that.
The voyage home.
Okay.
Whereabouts is the Voyager now?
Why do you have to say it like that?
Like what?
That sign can't stop us.
The
Okay,
show is
are you
funny,
guys ready
but,
for Rick Berman?
Are you guys ready for Comedy Hour?
With Rick Berman. Wow, what do you look for? Come on, Sarah. They're trying to be friendly. They just they want a little espionage. Come on. There's Rick. They use that term a lot in Star Trek multiple times, but nobody ever
What,
pronounces it
foyers?
right. It's a foyer. Foyer.
Yeah, Fourier. French.
Everyone always says like furrier in Star Trek.
The
It's not furrier.
Voyager.
At my work, I do Fourier transforms like every day.
Ah, the fuzzier transforms. I wonder if Tuvok chose his own outfit. I wonder if Tuvok chose his own outfit. Sarah, come on. Now she just feels bad. How could he have done this to Sarah? I mean, she was rude when they met. That's... I don't remember Windows 98 ever doing that. I
Skull and
don't remember a
Crossbones.
Skull and Crossbones.
But that's the special ChronoWorks OS.
It would have been cool though if it did have skull and crossbones.
No, there were when you got a
It would
virus
be
back
spicier
then,
than the blue screen of death.
you do get an ASCII skull because
But
like,
that wasn't a virus. He just like took a magnet to her hard drive.
no, yeah, but it showed up like a 70s virus because it says like, hey, you
Hey,
downloaded
you
something bad.
guys.
Like it's the screen said you downloaded something or something.
Rick, come on. You could at least be subtle about it.
Wow.
Are you grabbing her, Tuvok? She can run.
His phaser's cooler.
It's a future phaser.
It's like a.
That's
it's like
how
a,
we can
Wait.
vaporize entire
A Cardassian
bands.
phaser.
His phaser's resistant to being vaporized.
Special coding.
You could totally hit him here. You're. The phaser travels at the speed of light, friend. You don't
No,
even need
it
to lead
doesn't. It's a
It's an
particle.
accuracy
beam.
issue.
Yeah, you really need a
Particle beam.
shoulder-fired weapon to be really stable. Although, you know, I imagine a 29th century
You can just
phaser would
wave it
have like
around.
auto aim. Should have auto aim, you know?
Dang
They have
aim hacks.
auto-stabilizing gyros.
If it's that important to dematerialize them, put it on wide mode and just take out the neighborhood, like whatever.
He should watch some cooking show.
A soap opera.
Of course, he's watching a cooking show. Neelix comes to visit, and he just sits down and watches the Great British Bake Off.
Yeah, he might learn something. Why aren't these people cooking with Leola root?
Where's the Leola root plant?
I'll know, Sharon.
No, Sharon. Oh,
Okay,
Kess is like
what is
cringe,
wrong
bro,
with that
cringe.
woman? He's like, yeah, I cheated on you and had a kid with another guy, but come on. It's cool, right?
It's the 90s. Oh, we got Hal on the wall.
Spooky.
What does a tricorder do when they do that? Is it just like beam an electron into the right place or what?
Yes. Maybe it just completely shuts it off.
Neutrino CAT scans.
What did
Just
they
a
do with the
little toy.
tricorder?
They
I'm just
disabled the
bullshitting.
alarm.
They probably changed a value in a memory address in the microcontroller, right?
Yeah, but what is the
Change it-
physical way that this happens?
Change a 1 to a 0.
Does it turn on Bluetooth?
In the 90s?
Yeah, I think Bluetooth was around by then.
It
I don't.
wasn't popular yet, certainly.
I don't
You
know.
had to send-
I don't really have
USB
memories
was
of the
95.
90s.
You had to send the
Uh,
songs to each other's phones on infrared. God.
Bluetooth
Bluetooth was
introduced
invented in
7th of May,
1994.
1998.
Yeah. That barely existed.
Honestly, Bluetooth kind of barely
Barely.
exists now. Why is it? Its range is so bad.
It's not just the range, but the latency.
That's not even a ball
Only good
mouse.
for, like, phone
I think it's literally
calls.
that we just can't be bothered coming up with a better solution because it works well enough.
Like, is that the same reason that phones are just trash? Just phone lines talking over them? You can barely understand people
Yeah.
half the time.
Yeah, it's because it's good enough.
It's not. It's not good enough. It's awful. What are you going to do about it, Sarah? They're the ones with the ray gun.
There's your answer.
Well, she can't stand up and scream if they shoot her. Tuvok, stun her.
He's taking advantage of the fact that they're the good guys.
Oh, gun.
See, he just promised not to hurt her.
Yeah,
It's the
but
exact
everybody
opposite of
says
what he should
that.
do.
Soviets? Or did they, Sarah?
That's what they want you to think.
Exactly. It's like that bit in, what is it, The Simpsons, where they just press the button and it's the Soviet Union again? All the
Yeah.
little elephants turn into tanks.
That's what Putin did.
Still working on it. He's not there. It's not going so hot for him.
No.
He's got cancer, so he's going to go out with a bang.
Isograted? What does isograted mean? Is that like integrated but better?
Why is the computer that is in this office so bad then? If they've got all this crazy stuff. Why doesn't it play Cyberpunk?
Why did Chakotay change his haircut? Was his haircut too futury before? He would have given them away. I still think it's weird about Chakotay's hair that they made him dye it. Because in season 1, he had a little gray in there. But after like season 2, they made him dye it straight black. Looks different, and I don't like it. That's
So if the guy hadn't tried to
That's it.
stop
Series
Voyager,
finale.
the captain who never wanted to get involved is the #1 menace to the time cops.
Why isn't she using the mouse? Mouse wasn't invented yet.
Because it's not a real
No,
mouse.
there
It
it
doesn't
is.
have the ball on the bottom.
that's cool.
Actually, the ballless
little
mouse was around at that point.
Optical mouse.
Optical mouse. Thank you.
The optical mouse was invented in 1988,
That
but was
pretty
actually
popular.
commercially available in 1999.
Oh, okay. Later
But
than I thought.
this isn't commercial. This guy's the inventor. He could have it all he
True.
wants.
True.
I don't know. I just remember my
Could've-
school had a ball mouse.
Oh yeah, no, I remember them quite well, but I could have sworn the IntelliMouse was earlier than that.
Okay, but Janeway, consider this. Yes, he might destroy the solar system. He might. He doesn't know that for sure. He might kill billions or trillions of people. But if he tries and it works, he'll get some cash.
He doesn't already have a ton of shitload of cash.
He'll get more cash. Does Janeway have a gun? I missed it. Did you make them drop him? Why would Captain Janeway put Harry in charge? Harry, of all people.
He's the only senior officer left on the bridge.
She probably thought that he would be so weak-willed he wouldn't go against her orders.
Oh, that makes sense. That's a good canon. Oh,
3
he had a
terabytes.
3
Oh my
terabyte hard
gosh.
drive? Jesus. That's impressive, Henry.
Yeah, at the time, that was a lot.
All right, everyone, how many terabytes do you have right now?
Like in total, my C drive or my storage drives?
In this computer, not including network drives.
1.5 terabytes.
So
4, I think.
yeah,
But
I have
that's
4
only of last
terabyte
week. Last
C
week.
drive.
Before that, it was half a terabyte.
and I
Just half a
have
terabyte for me.
32 terabyte external drive.
Did you say 32?
Yeah.
Cool. My biggest one is 10.9 terabytes.
Nice.
Well, it's probably a 12,
Not a-
a 12 terabyte drive, isn't it? I think it's a
An
12 terabyte drive.
actual
But when you,
terabytes.
I actually have 3 terabytes. Same as this guy.
Wow. God, you're so stuck in the 90s, Gyrings. How is his 90s computer hacking Voyager?
Also has future tech.
I mean, have you
Does
seen
it?
Independence Day?
It's clearly running an OS from the 90s.
It's like the aliens from Independence Day. Running Mac OS, apparently.
I love the way this guy's hacking them in the classic 90s way of like tapping furiously at a keyboard.
This isn't real hacking. There's no skull and bones on the view screen.
You can tell he's not a real hacker because the text isn't green.
In fact, all you need to do to hack is you open command prompt and type in tree. And that's it. You did it. Oh my god, Janeway, just beam down and shoot him. Can we not beam down a security team? We'd have to go back into low orbit again, but whatever, it's fine, we can take
How
it.
did you get 20% of
that's
the
where he was
memory
about to talk
without-
about how
with
he's
a
going to steal the doctor.
3 terabytes.
Yeah, he's gone. Not how downloading works, incidentally.
Maybe that's just how downloading works in the 29th century.
All 29th century computers use cut and paste. The horror.
But they had to explain why someone had video of something.
There's no way it would be that well defined in the 90s. No way.
This also is not
whatsoever.
going to be brought up again. The fact that people now know they're there is totally irrelevant to the episode, so whatever. It's
Yeah.
fine.
But here's what
Generally, just
Here's
there
what
to have
happened.
a cliffhanger.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, here's what happens when someone finds a UFO in our timeline. We go, they're crazy. Next.
Yeah. Though it'd be a lot harder to fake in the 90s. Not impossible for sure, but harder. Also, 1 minute to part 2. Everyone queue up part 2. For more Sarah Silverman. A lot more.
Oh, yes.
I go to the bathroom
It's-
now.
Oh my, fine. Yes, it's the break.
It's
Thank you.
intermission. You may go.
Ryan,
What?
would you pause it?
No.
Bruh. Just get your battle bottle like everyone else.
Look, you need the true 90s experience where as soon as the commercial comes on, you sprint to the bathroom, go as fast as possible, and sprint back before the commercial ends.
Yeah.
There's no pausing.
That's how we rolled.
Or if you were me and you had a mirror that you could angle it so you could see the TV while you're actually in the bathroom.
Nobody can see you. Also press play in 5,
Well,
4, 3, 2,
not if you
1,
by yourself.
play. If you're by yourself, just bring the TV into the bathroom.
The cable doesn't reach.
Carry it.
And it's like 300 pounds because it's a 32-inch Trintron tube TV.
I can't wait until these fancy monitors and this graphics card, it all feels quaint and obsolete. We need more technology, better, faster.
Stronger.
It doesn't happen near as fast as anymore.
I don't know, man. I've got a 30 series and they're already making the 40.
I'm just saying, like,
Well,
in 1998,
you're on the
a
30
people's
series
computer
next
was
year.
like the slowest thing you could imagine.
Not for then. Not for that time.
No. I mean, just 5 years was just such a big difference at that point that, yeah.
The speed of technology.
30 series launched before the pandemic, and here it is. We're finally getting into the. We've actually taken an extra year on the 30 series to get on the 20 series. 20 series is only 2 years. They stretched it.
Ah, yes, the great pandemic of the 30 series.
Yeah.
No, a pandemic implies that it's everywhere. That was very much not the case for the 30 series.
Okay, just an epidemic.
Now it's a bit of an epidemic, which is cool, but...
Can you imagine trying to have a conversation with someone and they just say, it's classified. It's classified.
I'd tell you if I had that experience, but it's classified.
Wait, Sarah Silverman has a brain?
He's literally an astronomer here.
She's reading from the script. I mean, come on.
Wait, do people not like Sarah Silverman? I don't actually know anything about her other than this.
She's
She's
kind
alright.
of a
Nice.
And she voiced a character in Wreck-It
a
Ralph.
nice personality.
She's pretty. Also, they really show off her anatomy in this episode.
What are you talking about, Rick?
Rick likes his midriffs, you know?
But I will say it was period appropriate, and also it brought a lot of levity to the episode, like Star Trek.
Her midriff?
The
Yeah, you know the bit
actress
in the
of
middle of a person?
a comedic.
Yeah, no, that's...
The
Thank you,
comedic-
Alex.
having a comedic actress brought a lot of levity to the episode because it's like Star Trek 4 with the whales, right? You nerve pinch the guy blasting the music from the beatbox, boombox, and a lot of laughs all around.
God, Sarah, why are you so judgmental? What's wrong with hot dogs and Goliath gulps for breakfast. Come on.
Oh, I would love a Goliath gulp right now.
Well, you should come to America. They're everywhere.
I need to go back to the 90s.
Oh, you don't need the 90s for Goliath gulps.
No?
Just America in general. They're everywhere, man. They're not called that anymore.
What I
Except
need
for
is a
Manhattan
Goliath gulp of Baja Blast.
and state of
Yeah.
Washington.
Go to Taco Bell, get a 32-ounce Baja Blast. It's fine.
Oh,
Costs you $1.99.
oh my god. This is the future I wanted.
You know, I'm going to look up right now, what is the actual cost to value of a Baja Blast? I've never had one. They look awful, but let me look. I also don't get what's up with G Fuel. It just looks gross, but apparently people like to sponsor it,
PewDiePie.
be sponsored by
basically.
it. Okay, now Argos, do you want a Baja Blast or a Baja Blast Freeze?
Just a Baja Blast to start.
Okay, so a 420 calorie drink is $2.49.
Whoa.
It doesn't say how
You
many
can just
ounces.
go to the
it
store and
is. Oh,
buy
it's
a
30
2
ounces.
liter
30
for
ounces.
$1.99 or less, probably.
Now let me just convert that to metric.
Just get a 2 liter at the store for the same price or less.
It wouldn't be Baja Blast, though. Do they sell Baja Blast in stores?
I
I
think
think
they
that's
do.
just Taco Bell branding.
I think they have it now in stores.
They didn't at first, for sure.
They didn't at first, but I think they do now.
Hang on. On the Mountain Dew fandom wiki, it says Baja Blast is a franchise-exclusive Mountain Dew flavor available since August 2004, only at Taco Bell restaurants. But I don't know when this was last updated. It looks like it was from the 90s.
I thought they finally... Yeah. Let's just do a search for
What
Baja
flavor
Blast
even is that?
2 liter.
It's Baja Blast
Yeah, let's just do
flavor.
Baja Blast 2 liter. There, Walmart's got it.
What is a Baja?
Baja is an
I don't know.
area in western Mexico.
I think
And
it's
where's
like melon
Baja?
flavored.
So it tastes
Baja
like
means
Western
south
Mexico,
dirt
yes.
from Mexico.
in Spanish. So Baja California is Southern California. Like it's
It says the exhilarating taste of dew with a blast of tropical lime flavor.
Oh,
So it's
keep
lime?
going.
It's a lime soda?
It's blue. That's weird.
It's got the azure color of Western Mexico.
What side of Mexico is the most delicious? I've only been to the western side,
Where did
because it's the
potato
same
come
side
from?
I'm on.
That's the delicious side. He looks like so pissed. He didn't even blink.
I wonder if they're actually gonna destroy Earth. We might lose it.
Oh no, not Earth.
Destroy Earth.
my-
Never liked the place anyway.
It's my favorite.
All my most hated people are there. But it's also where I keep all my stuff.
Yeah, all my hard drives are on Earth. Don't blow it up. I haven't backed up to the cloud.
Sucked into a time vortex. Too good for him, I say.
Associated.
Well, Tuvok, have you considered a gun? I know you have
Yes,
one.
he is
Go shoot
culturally
him.
contaminating her.
It feels like this episode's going to end with, like, Star Trek 4 The Voyage Home, where she latches onto him and goes to the future. But no. Just cultural contamination.
Couldn't have Sarah Silverman on Voyager for the rest of Voyager.
Was she expensive in the 90s? That's a weird
don't think
question.
so.
You know what I mean.
I don't think so.
She was premium.
It was a few years before she had her own show.
Her rise to fame was clearly because of this episode.
Doctor, have you considered giving this man a medical emergency? You'll solve everything.
Nah.
Just kill him.
Where's the holographic emitter in here?
Well, as he just said, don't need it. I do not believe for a second that he's running Windows
Yeah.
98 and he has a hologrid.
Nah.
He's not
There's
Windows
no
98
way.
yet. He's barely on Windows 95.
He's not. He's running ChronoWorks OS. Special Starling executive package.
I bet that's not even a real plant in the background. I bet he invented plastic plants with future technology. Future plastic.
Look at the sky. I invented that also. Get out of my sky. It's a Voyager.
You can't just diagnose someone off one sentence, Doctor. Why does he have a Ferris wheel in his office?
Maybe it's a perpetual Ferris wheel.
Now call the teleporter.
Teleporter.
Whatever it is, they're half shot.
He said the thing.
No, you are database.
Literally. He's literally a data. That's all he is.
Walking, talking Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, my greatest dream. Wow, he's a better holographic engineer than Dr. Zimmerman. Unless he just
Why does he have
activated, because the
Yeah, I think we're about to
doctor...
ask the same question.
Do you remember the episode where the doctor made himself sick for a while? Maybe he just activated that dormant programming.
Hmm.
The doctor just commented it out.
He got the Felucian flu or whatever it was. He's like, having
It's like
a
a
runny nose will be
24-hour
so
flu,
easy.
and then Kes screwed with him. He was like, nah, 28 now.
He's like, no, you're going to die, Doctor.
Now we'll see if you see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Does it say a 1 or a 0?
Oh, Sarah's wearing... Wait, is that... That looks like a backpack. Yeah, she's wearing a bag over one shoulder strap. That's not healthy for your spine, Sarah. You need to use both straps. Now, my assumption here is as soon as he shows up, Tuvok's going to pull out the phaser and disintegrate him.
That'd be nice.
That's true, though.
Just
What do you
kill
do
him.
when the timeline has already been so disrupted that the best thing you can do is actually
Kill him.
vaporize Henry Starling?
How convenient
Lamau.
that the future had that in his ship. He just had a mobile emitter for some reason.
I guess the time chip had an EMH as well.
The future is here.
Why can't they just use that EMH instead of the doctor?
Future's here, old man.
Oh my god.
Why is this man walking around in his pajamas?
Funny
They've
thing at
gotta
the
sell
beginning
Star Trek pajamas, right?
of the last episode,
Yeah.
they
Oh yeah.
Tuvok says that if we wore our Starfleet uniforms, nobody would have noticed.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
I once wore a Star Trek uniform, Red Command, to school, to college, and only like one person really noticed on the street. Then
Was
this
it
one
in the
like,
90s?
"Oh my God." It was in the early 2000s, which counts as the 90s.
That's literally not how numbers work, but okay.
Nope.
Yeah, it was before the 90s.
But really, the early 2000s and really the 2010s were the worst period because it was hard to describe them. Like now we can say it's the 20s. How do you say it's the 10s is okay but sounds
It's the
stupid?
noughties and
Yeah,
the
but that
tens.
just that's
It's called
awful.
the aughts.
Go with the aughts. I say the aughts.
The
It
oddies.
sounds so
the oddies.
bad.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's the
The
official term.
noughties.
Sounds old school.
For like 15 years, I was just excited to get to the 20s just so I could say the 20s.
Yeah.
Is it going to be
And now
the
you're
roaring
here.
20s?
How's it going?
Maybe.
Oh, it's great. I am loving the fact I can just say, oh, it's the 20s now. It's so much easier.
But who just asks you what decade it is?
That's classified.
What decade is it again?
Oh, this is where
What
she
day?
says she has to get a job.
They could go to Gravette Island, hang out.
Who but the best burger flipping employee?
The Temporal Prime Directive, Chakotay.
The Nobel Prize. What an insignificant award for a starship commander. Ooh, you discovered something. Big deal. So did I.
I find it interesting that every half human, half something in Star Trek always identifies with the alien half. Spock identifies as Vulcan, B'Elanna identifies as Klingon. No half. I almost said an alien slur. No half
Oh,
alien. How do we?
no half spoon.
Nobody ever identifies as just human. It's always the other half.
I think it's probably because they're amongst humans, so that is the differentiator.
Yeah. It's just like how many Americans identify as Irish really, really hard.
Or Italian.
Yeah. And how many Brits identify as American? Tons.
Gyrinx. You
Hollow
traitor.
dust.
I don't know.
Why are you in England, man?
Holographic
What's
dust.
over there? What do they have that we don't? Other than
I
healthcare.
don't know. Jobs for compiler hackers.
We've got the glorious HP sauce. Try and match that. I let my top in the man.
No,
She
Sarah,
is
you
being
never let
funny,
them take you to a secondary location.
He's literally acting like a stupid
but
person now.
a cell phone can call a starship.
Yes.
Yeah, they need to contact him about the Starship's extended warranty.
That's not how the telecommunications grid works. It doesn't work for outer space.
Yeah, it does.
No,
It
I
doesn't
was
beam it into outer space, but it beams it around the world.
very
the
geolocated
atmosphere.
though, which is kind of amazing. But the other thing is that I was reading how well watching a video how we're gonna do telemetry on Mars, like how we could even begin to have internet on Mars. And obviously it wouldn't be like a live connection, but it could be something that like updates Mars internet every time the two satellites get in orbit with each other. So you just have like a cached internet.
101's a nightmare this time, he said. The 101's always a nightmare. Unfortunately, it's like the
kind of
only
device.
highway. Which is
Beam
probably
them
why
out
it's a nightmare.
anyways, and then just fucking dematerialize them, turn them into atoms.
Yeah.
All right, beam up the driver.
Look how fast this man can move. Those massive legs of his.
No, don't let him go. You need him. You fools.
Couldn't have grabbed his phaser before he ran.
Self-sustaining, infinite battery power.
Except when it isn't.
It doesn't have solar panels. Does it have like a tiny nuclear reactor? How does it work?
It has a quantum singularity.
Maybe it just has like a really capacious
Future
battery pack.
You just totally cut out.
What if the entirety of the Doctor's internals is just a big battery pack, and it's just like a flesh layer?
Well, your body is a battery pack.
Yeah, that's what fat is.
I learned it in the Matrix.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't look anything like a tricorder.
Maybe it's a bicorder.
It's from the future. It's probably a quad or even a pentacorder.
It's a dodecacorder.
Make sure to take all of his technology. Do a nice scan for metals.
Whee.
And that's how the Grand Canyon was formed.
That's a pretty intense crash.
Fancy technology, and they still crashed it. Oh, hey, you're finally awake.
You were trying to cross the star system, right?
Oh, I've seen this room a few times in Voyager.
It's the murder room.
I am the Terminator.
Yeah, no, this
Oh,
guy's just a hick.
Oh,
This is no Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh no, I'm sorry. The Doctor is the Terminator later, but this guy
Divine
is
intervention is highly unlikely.
an anti-government activist, which is
Generally,
try to-
California, which is where they are, is considered like super liberal, like 100% Democrat. That's not. There's some really rural, very conservative areas.
and wealthy conservative areas. You know,
And-
funny thing is, go ahead.
There's also the subset of, yes, crazy anti-government conspiracy theorists.
Yes,
100% got those.
Right, but there's also like
I mean,
pro-gun activists.
You think
know,
we don't have crazy conspiracy
anti-pro-gun
theorists in
activists?
California?
Yeah.
I think no. I'm just saying, like, there's a reason to be suspicious of the government. It's not always our pal.
Okay, there's a difference between skepticism that the bills they're passing are for your benefit and The government is literally the devil. Your demons in human form come to take our souls.
Devils.
By the way, in this episode, he doesn't even call it a devil. He calls it the Antichrist because
The
that's
beast.
a term for beast in the Book of Revelation, in the Bible.
Though Shotgun
that got
Hicks
an
seems
exa-
very
yeah, it did.
familiar. Have we seen Shotgun Man?
Look at that. He has himself a Spas 12, featuring in such games as Call of Duty, Left 4
Fast
Dead.
12s. That's one of my unicorn guns that I want for my collection. Spaz 12, but not a great shotgun.
But it's
Well,
in all the
you know you
games.
haven't used it.
And they always show people like using the pump action on the Spaz 12. The Spaz 12 was semi-automatic, and you only use the pump action when you were using something like beanbag rounds that didn't have enough power to run the semi-auto function. So there was a lot of features in the Spaz 12, which was what made it unreliable. It had a lot of gimmicks and gizmos. Like it had a magazine cutoff, so you could like single load door breacher rounds and stuff, and it could switch between pump action and semi-auto, and yeah, it made it finicky.
Not like those Cardassian
Oh.
phasers. They'll fire after
They're-
anything.
Those aren't California crazy conspiracy theorists. They're Nevada crazy conspiracy theorists.
Right.
He's not looking at the road like at all right now.
Yeah. But he's also not in the driver's seat, so who cares?
Oh yeah.
This
other
is
side.
America, Argos.
This is America. You drive on the right side, not the correct side.
It
Yes, we
doesn't
drive
matter.
on the right side.
I'm sorry, our driving system wasn't developed by like people on horses wielding swords.
Yeah. It was developed by people riding carriages with no swords. Imagine that.
Yes, Janeway, shoot him.
You know, it'd be a fun thing to do. Just try driving on
Shoot
the
him.
other side of the road for a bit. Just a prank.
I've seen it.
Literally every day I go to work, I drive on the left side of the road.
Huh?
Every day I drive to work, I drive on the left side of the road.
Is it a
Yeah, on the
one-way
highway.
street?
Divided road.
You
No,
like
it's one way.
Okay.
3-lane one-way street.
Oh yeah, the highways. I know about those.
Because every coastal California city has the 101 going through it. Every single one. Because it's our only highway.
Ah. The 101, such as featured in this episode.
Yes. Traffic is terrible this time of day because it's the only highway. It's not the only, it's the main highway. It's the one everybody uses. And it sucks.
Yeah, no.
Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice he is willing to make.
I
My God, Janeway, just shoot him.
It also doesn't exist right now.
Shoot him a little bit. Stab him. Punch him. Come on, do something. What
Let
if
him
we
starve.
self-destruct to the sick bay? Come on, Janeway, you love self-destructing.
Shoot the Chrono Works building.
I think they're going to.
He can even come up with his own logo, like, bruh.
didn't you just steal the Starfleet logo?
No, it's
Like
the
sideways.
it's Braxton's comm badge.
Yeah, it's Starfleet Delta sideways.
What does that even mean?
So the book of Revelation says that there will be the beast of the Antichrist, which will have 7 heads, and one of them is like a dragon, one of them is like a bear. Well, there's the anyway. So it's like a hydra, and usually Protestant or fundamentalist Protestant interpretations of that will mean that it's the Catholic Church, because like basically, well, another term is the Whore of Babylon. But yeah. So, but the one of the beasts of the head, the eagle is also a symbol of the United States. So when you read prophecy in there, the bear is Russia, the
No,
dragon is
clearly the
China.
bear is California.
I'm still listening.
It's got 3 heads.
I'm
So-
I lost. You lost me like 8 heads ago.
So, the Book of Revelations describes the Dungeons and Dragons character Tiamat.
It's a classic. You should all read it.
Everybody loves Tiamat.
Tiamat,
Also,
son
why
of,
is the Bible so obsessed with trumpets? Everybody uses a trumpet.
Well, we didn't have many instruments back then.
Since all the angels use trumpets, is it just one big jazz orchestra up there?
Oh, that would be so amazing. Like an angelic jazz orchestra. And the demonic rock band. And they're going to do a massive clash.
You know what? I've never heard a hymn that included a trumpet. It's always just a cappella. Sometimes there's a piano or a harp. Nobody ever uses a trumpet. What's up with that? Bible loves trumpets.
I watched a video where someone was playing an organ at a dubstep festival, and it was actually pretty good. Yes, I care about the classic cars. Take me home to my replicated popcorn.
Okay, let's see.
Take
Upon
me
the sound of the
home to
first trumpet,
Paradise
hail and
City.
fire mingle with blood is thrown to earth, burning up a third of the trees on the planet and all green grass. So we haven't hit. We've
What?
burned up a third of the trees, but the grass is still there, so that's fine.
Oh, yeah. So we're good. Well, what color does the grass go? Does it go like brown, burn the candle?
It just says it burns up all green grass. Well, I'm reading the Wikipedia entry. I guess I could load up the actual verses, but which translation are we doing? I can't read Aramaic.
Or what?
Aramaic.
Aramaic.
What's that?
It's a Syriac language that was a cousin of Hebrew.
Language
It's
Jesus
still like-
spoke.
Yes.
Mm.
It's a Semitic
God,
language.
didn't
but-
you watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Oh, a long time ago.
You
See,
know,
the sounding of the second trumpet, something described as a great mountain burning with fire. It's called a volcano, guys. Come on. Plunges into the sea and turns a third of the oceans to blood.
It's
Why?
Yellowstone.
yeah, and it says a third of the fish will be
A third of all sea
incinerated.
life and a third of all ships.
Yeah, all fish. So
All
not
ships?
just one fish, but all fishes. So
Oh.
but the thing is though, it's like whenever somebody comes to me with like a revelation prophecy, like, hey, look, this already happened. I said, all right, but chapter 3, all the fish die, a third of all the fish die, and all the green grass on the earth is burnt.
We're working on it,
So,
dude. We're working on it
should
as
we-
fast as we
Did we
can,
get
all
to
right?
chapter 6 before we got to chapter 3? Like, did the Saint John of Patmos get the revision of the apocalyptic future wrong?
I hope they don't burn
Third
the
trumpet,
of the
we get
ships.
hit by an asteroid that poisons a third of our fresh water.
Oh,
It's
God.
gonna be terrible, but you know you can't tell me we're in chapter 6.
And that's how you know an alien is trying to destroy us, all this stuff.
The fourth trumpet, a third of the light from the sun and moon and stars becomes dark, so everything just gets a little dimmer. Though I feel like if a third of the light from the sun disappeared, that's enough to kill us by itself. We need that. Like, the
I
sun
see, I don't
changes
have
a
a
little
phone.
bit. It fluctuates, but not by a third. Jesus.
I have a BlackBerry.
We should just ask him like for Netflix and chill. I think 90s
Yeah.
version of
She
Netflix
asked for
and
his
chill.
number.
Yeah, man.
That is a beautiful gift. If a girl ever asking for your number.
Lasers?
The government got later.
It's the devil's work.
Now, so the doctor takes a big risk here, right?
Yeah, he could hit the emitter.
Right, exactly. He could hit the mobile emitter.
Especially with the shotgun. Jeez.
Well, shotguns don't work like they do in video games.
He's pretty far away. And it's still a little spread.
That distance, you spread like maybe 4 inches radius.
I wouldn't want to take the risk of 4 inches. That's a big radius.
There is a shield on the mobile emitter, which would make it not.
It gets
I
shot
think we
later
have-
in the series.
Okay.
And it also gets
Let me say a
infested with
lot.
Borg at one point as well.
Yeah.
I think it even gets hit by a literal projectile gun, like a regular gun at some point.
All right, I'm just up to season 3.
Also, Paris, that was entirely... We just turned onto a desert road. You're in Nevada. It's all desert. It's all desert road.
Maybe it's not desert in the 24th century.
They terraformed Nevada.
Mm-hmm. Where else are they going to put all the casinos?
Why do we even
Ferengi
live
love
in Nevada? Why do we have so many cities and deserts?
Because we're arrogant.
Seriously,
Because
just
there
look
be
at the terrain
resources out in
here.
them desert.
Wait, Tom, why do you have to wait to get closer? Just shoot him.
So dramatic. Surely all this guy needs to do is just step on the brakes. And they're
Why
not
one more
property.
minute? Yeah, just shoot. Seems legit. No human settlement should have the air waving around like that. That's not good. It's too much heat.
I told you, it's arrogance.
It is.
Why would you keep cranking what you call it, carbureted? That looks so bad. It looks like a 90s
was-
Transformers cartoon.
What do you mean? It's a
How
perfect
you gonna
explosion.
explain
And
this?
look at that green screening.
Ruh-roh.
So that shot of them looking at the truck had 3 layers. They had Tom and Sarah standing on a green screen. They had a clean plate, a clean shot of an empty road. And they had the CG truck layered on top. What they should have done is just actually blown up a truck. Would have been amazing.
This guy, look at him.
He's so happy. For now.
And he did it with style too.
God.
Oh. Leave Kim alone, jeez.
I feel like Janeway would have failed the officer's test, right? The commander's exam? Because she's not willing to send other people to their death. She goes and does it herself.
Mm.
You
That is
should
basically
totally order
Janeway's character.
Ensign NyQuil to go and activate the torpedo.
Order Ensign NyQuil to give you some sleep juice.
The first random word I thought of. I don't know why I went to NyQuil.
You're going to sleep now, forever. Okay.
Oh, this is
What does NyQuil have in it that makes you sleep? What makes you sleep?
Isn't it like alcohol?
I don't know.
it's some other kind of narcotic. I don't know. What
It's
is it?
doxylamine. Doxylamine.
It's
There's
That's
also
it.
like ephedrine
very
or
different ways of saying
pseudoephedrine,
it.
pseudoephedrine or something like that. Makes you drowsy.
I've never used one before, but I just wondered.
I don't like covering up the symptoms, but you still have all the, the headache and the light sensitivity of a cold. I never found it to be an effective remedy against
Fortified with powerful
Well,
narcotics.
NyQuil's not for the headache. NyQuil's
5
for
times
the
more powerful than
mucus.
sinus
morphine.
stuffiness.
It make you
It's for
be
the
unconscious
stuffiness.
while you recover.
Yeah,
Dextromethorphan,
yeah,
which
epiphephrin
becomes
or
in the
something.
body dextropan, which a cough suppressant, and levofernal, a painkiller 5 times as powerful as morphine.
What?
Yeah.
If you want to fix a headache, you get ibuprofen.
How do I get there?
Ibuprofen's the
Unfortunately,
good
knows how
stuff.
to get there.
Ibuprofen's a boring drug, though. If you take too much of it, you don't like get high or anything, you just get liver failure.
Thanks for letting me know.
Doesn't do anything other than kill you in too high doses.
Yeah, and it doesn't do it straight away, does it? It's like, oh, I'm fine. And then 1 week later,
it'll
you're
take a
like,
bit.
I am dead.
There's no way time travel requires single-digit accuracy.
Not even a floating point. Floating points haven't been invented yet, you see.
I wonder if it's just you give it an approximate course and then the computer like analyzes and makes it more precise. An autocomplete ship.
Oh.
Uh-oh. What could it
It's
be?
your boy, Braxton. Yeah, it's a different actor.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I hate
feel
that
like-
they recast this character.
Why did they recast him between different episodes, though? In a two-parter.
They recast him for the one where they were kidnapping Seven. This is the same
Yeah,
actor, isn't it?
Well, they changed his... Yeah. They changed his makeup a bunch. He looks different. But yeah, they recast him in Relativity.
Yeah. I don't like that casting.
So you can wait 400 years to get home, or 60-something years.
I don't know, Janeway. Janeway? You know it takes exactly one torpedo to kill him.
But then what happens?
You fly around the sun for a bit. And hope nobody notices you in the years you're actually there.
So this Picard establishes that Spock had some kind of extraordinary intelligence, which enabled him to do the calculations on the fly to do that round the sun thing.
And the computer would be capable of doing it, but it has so many safeguards it won't even do the calculation for you. It's like, no, this is crazy. I'm not doing that. It just
It's
says
like
no.
your scanner won't scan $100 bill. It'll just be like, think twice before you do this.
Why does the doctor have a drink?
And he never gets them.
He doesn't.
Even Neelix has quarters.
He said the thing.
Oh,
All right, that's all we needed. Stream's over. We're done. No, the last part is we need to go over what episodes are next week. Next week we're doing Warlord, which is a really weird Kess episode where she like gets possessed by an evil person. It's weird. And then the Q in the Gray. The Q in the Gray, and I think that's the Civil War episode.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Q takes Janeway to the Q continuum, and everyone there is all American Civil War, and they're shooting each other with muskets, and it's...
That's a good romp. That's basically, that one's just like, turn your brain off and enjoy.
And Susie Plaxton is there, also known as Kalar.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
I like Kalar.
And then third episode is going to be Macrocosm with the macro viruses, which is going to be way too on the nose.
I hate that episode. It freaks me out.
What if we just take a gun and shoot the COVID out of the air?
Reminds me
Should
of
work.
the episodes of Red Dwarf with the polymorph.
Sure, I'm sure it's exactly like that.
It's not exactly, but it's quite close.
Yeah, that's next week. This week's is done. And then anything really good coming up? The Q and the Gray's good, but week after is the episode where Janeway thinks she's dead and her fake dad's trying to talk her into going to the light.
Huh?
Don't worry about it.
I guess I
It's called
skipped these episodes.
Coda, if you want to look it up. It's okay. Let me just scroll forward a bit and see when we get 7 of 9. We get 7 of 9 on August 21st.
Oof.
It's a little while.
The long-awaited 7 of 9.
We'll get there eventually. We'll find 7.
Famous
Marvelous.
girlfriend of the Doctor, and
Can't see it.
Chakotay, and whoever.
I'd prefer a 7.
And what's
of
her
11.
name on Picard?
7 of 9.
Picard.
What do you mean?
You know, she dated on Picard. Who's she dating on Picard? What's the woman's name?
Oh,
Raffi.
yeah, Raffi.
Rafi.
Drug lady.
Thank you.
You did throw that in at the end. They're like, yes, Rashi and 7 are together. Like, okay.
They fleshed it out in season 2.
Did they though?
They added some detail.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. They 100%
I don't
did.
know if they did.
What do you mean? It was the plot of like 3 different episodes. They went around the entire city together and talked about their relationship forever.
It's like maybe you got bored during those episodes. Or...
Anyway, this stream's over. We're done.
Bye.